Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. I am Marita Davis Johnson. I chair the County Operations Committee, and my colleagues that sit on that committee with me are Commissioner Robert Patrick and Commissioner Ladina Doc Bowden and Dr. Bowden. Okay. And we have with us today Commissioner Ted Terry. And so without further ado, have you all had a chance to read the minutes for June the 26th?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is Allison here? Okay, good. We're going to start off with the library landscape transition plan. Good afternoon. Fine, thank you.
Is that better? Okay. Good afternoon, y'all. I've got a little handout here for y'all.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm probably breaking protocol there, sorry. So I think my task was to come back to y'all with a list of kind of priorities for branches. I've run this by our Board of Trustees at their last meeting in June, and they were fine with this. And the idea to roll this out was to kind of start by going backwards a little bit with the branches that we initially started with. So Stonecrest, Redan, Trotty, Lithonia, Davidson, Salem, Panola, and Hairston Crossing. Those branches have already, had some transition work done on them, but they need a little attention and need a little more kind of follow-up. So that would be my recommendation for the phase one. Phase two, we would want to move on to the larger branches, so Decatur and some of our other, what we refer to as area libraries, Wesley Chapel, Wesley Chapel, Tucker, Reed H. Cofer, and Tocqueville Hill. Those are all branches that, are high-traffic branches, so we tend to, when we roll things out, we like to kind of go from big to small, just because it has more impact initially. And then last, we would hit some of the smaller branches, and I've got them listed there: Covington, Flat Shoals, Scott Candler, Gresham, Embry, Stone Mountain, County Line, Ellenwood. And then a few branches we wouldn't really need to do anything about. Brookhaven, we're getting ready to replace. Doraville, they're moved into a temporary location, and they'll be part of the redesign in downtown Doraville. Dunwoody, that's a property that's owned by the city of Dunwoody. They are maintained right now by the Dunwoody Garden Club, and they do a great job, so we don't want to upset that apple cart. North Lake Barbalore is another location that receives a lot of attention from the Friends of the Library group there. So we've got a lot of nice sort of high visibility areas there with perennials and flowering things. And then Scottdale Toby Grant right there, we're not, we're just a tenant of Parks. So, when this eventually rolls out to Parks, they could be included.
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah, so what is, can you talk about the phases? How long would phase one be to go into phase two, to go into phase three?
I think I sort of feel like that's maybe more of an FM question, since I, as far as I understand, the library won't actually be managing this project. It'll be under FM's purview. So it was my understanding that I was to provide you guys just with sort of a focus here first, then here second. But in my estimation, maybe like phase one could be the first year. Then the next year we add on, as money is available and funding is authorized, that we kind of maybe go by year with these.
Okay. Any questions? Let me get my committee members first. Okay.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
I'd just like to clarify, under each phase, you have the libraries listed in order of priority. So if it's first, that would be top of list, or is this just, we've just grouped them in phases?
I've kind of grouped them in phase. So phase one would be, my recommendation would be to go with the Stonecrest, Redan, Lithonia, Salem and Hairston, because those branches were the original, kind of part of the original pilot program, but just, with just the District 5 libraries that are all associated with the picnic shelters or the gazebos. And that was kind of where they got some new plants, but then the upkeep and the maintenance was a little spotty, and now they just need to be readdressed.
So in phase 3, where we have Covington Library as top of the list, in phase 3 or any of the phases, have we considered prioritizing them, or is the goal to address or attack all of these simultaneously?
All of the same, yeah.
Okay,
That would be my recommendation. And it's possible, I know you have special interest in Covington.
I do.
And it's possible, we do have some funding there, some, I think it's, let me make sure I'm saying, I think it's some bond interest money set aside where we are going to do some renovations at Covington. So depending on the timing of that, it's possible that happens sooner, because we would potentially roll that all in together. Usually when we do a renovation, we do a little bit of landscaping as well.
Okay, wonderful. I yield back.
Okay. Do you have any?
Yeah, just a few questions, Madam Chair. Thank you. Allison, good to see you.
Thank you.
And just as a refresher, this is a list of library properties that the Board of Trustees has approved for consideration.
Yes.
And if it's not on the list, they said hold off for
Yes.
the time being. Understood. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Allison, for being here, and thanks for having the Board of Trustees give, I think everyone seemed pretty excited about it, and we're, just interested in, supporting libraries inside and out.
Yes.
Indeed. And I think, so the other libraries that initially that we had been doing were Clarkston and Chamblee. And so I think those would probably also be in phase 1, because they've been done over, but they still need to have like the actual maintenance
Yeah,
part.
I guess, I sort of was thinking of them separately, because they've already sort of the transition has happened. Now it's just the maintenance. They would need to be worked into the
RFP.
electrification and all that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Commissioner Davis Johnson, when you were asking about sort of the timeline of the phasing, so the idea, and I think Zach and Director Butler can maybe speak on this. So in the transition plan document, there is suggested RFP language for the design and the maintenance of these landscapes that would fit in with the goal of a more sustainable landscape. So Zach, if the transition plan is passed, in the next week or two or next month, I guess, this would give y'all the language through Director Butler's office to put out the RFP for the phase 1 libraries, for instance, for the install and maintenance. So if you kind of had that language sort of initially drafted, what would be the timeline to answer Commissioner Davis Johnson to get that on the street?
Right. So what we're thinking is probably 30 days or so, just to refine the scope, assuming that what we have, gets us moving in the right direction. So, so 30 days, and then we put it on the street for a minimum of, would we do 30 days or 2 months? For a minimum of 30 days, it'd be on the street.
Okay. Yeah, and so Commissioner, that's the idea here is, the libraries that have been done and or were started but need to be finished, the phase 1 RFP would be basically for those libraries. And so the goal hopefully would be to identify vendors who can do the install and or the actual maintenance of those sites. And then, and then I think Director Weissinger's, right on. And ideally, we would try to do phase 1 in year 1, phase 2 in year 2, phase 3 in year 3. But obviously that depends on budget and resources. So, like all transition plans, we can start with phase 1, see how it goes. If we need to tweak and, zhuzh things, we can do that for the future phases.
Okay. And Michelle, is at 30 days realistic?
We'll take 60.
No, I'm asking, is the 30, why don't you tell us what is realistic than us telling you, since that's what you do. I mean, from the passing of this? And,
So I can't give you a deadline from the passing of this because that's pre the procurement process.
Yes.
So what I need is a scope of work, which we don't have right now because we're still in the
Right.
discussion phase. But that guides everything. So if we don't have a scope of work, there's nothing for the procurement team to do. And so that's what the COO was mentioning, was looking at whatever it is we get from whomever the user department is that is assigned to process this, and seeing what they've put together, refining it in whatever way it needs to be refined. You've mentioned some additional language that would need to be a part of the scope of work as well. But you are helping me in understanding where your vision is and that you want a group of individuals who can install and maintain those sites. So we want to make sure that we're clear that that's the scope of work as well. And then it really all depends on the market. So, you may have a lot of people that say we can do this, but if your scope of work is too broad, you're going to get any and everybody, and that's not what you're looking for. But if it's too restrictive, you may get two. And we don't necessarily want to do that if it's not necessary. So the scope of work is the most important. We want to make sure we get that right because that colors everything.
okay, so the process will begin once this item is possibly approved by the board.
The process technically begins when all the stakeholders get together and have that, I call it, as of last week, what I mentioned to you guys, the needs meeting, because this is not the needs meeting. This is a resolution being discussed and ideas being thrown around. But at the end of the day, there's a user department that's responsible for getting this done on your behalf. And that's who we're going to have those needs meetings with,
Okay.
because that's who we have to deal
Okay.
with on a regular basis.
Okay, so I got that. So the first thing to do is passage.
Yes.
And then it goes, so that would really start the process within the administration. Once we pass it, hand it over to you all, and then you do what you may do.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, and then I would assume that you would do it in an expedited manner or in a reasonable
Yes.
manner. And so, that's something that you can report back to us
We can.
at a later time.
With the collaboration of the user department, we work through
Right.
the entire schedule, and we try to
Okay.
make a realistic schedule, so we're not doing a lot of addenda, asking
Okay.
for
I
dates
got
to be
you. I
pushed
got
out
you.
when it's not necessary.
I got you. We got a full agenda here, too.
Yep, and I'll just add that I think, between facilities and libraries, those to me are the folks who should be at the needs meeting. So as it relates to each library, and then certainly, I think commissioners, we had asked for any specific kind of themes that you would like at your libraries, right? Some kind of want more edible, maybe others want more native species, it
Yes.
depends. And so I think that's kind of the goal. But I will say the deadline really is just enough time to plant for the next spring. So I think we actually have plenty of time to go through the process this year. And if folks are selected early next year, they, in theory, would have time to get everything in the ground and watered.
Commissioner Patrick had something.
If it would be possible, assuming this motion passes today, could we have you guys just come back in October, maybe the last meeting in October, and give us an update? Because I know usually by February, that's the end of the ideal planting timeframe, so would a
Would that be
October
possible?
update be possible? Okay,
October.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's put it down, John. They're gonna give us an update, the last meeting in October. Okay, do we have a motion? Okay.
And I just want to clarify, because on this list, phase 1, 2, and 3, I think that's 15. In the presentation, it states that the initial pilot paved the way for a $250,000 for a full 23 library transition plan. Has that been updated or changed? Is that what we're still going with?
So that 250 was what I put in a few years ago to do the transition plan, and Clarkston and Champley libraries. So that's already been spent
Oh,
to
okay.
get us to all this point.
And with each phase, do we have an estimate of what each phase will cost us?
Madam Chair, so there are estimates, but I think the idea is through the procurement process, there would be bids for what, those vendors think they would be able to do X, Y, and Z on. So presumably lowest responsible bidder, I think is what we're looking for usually.
Okay, but no maximum that we want to cap it at, or not to exceed amount, rather?
Well, I'll be looking at Zach and the libraries because ultimately it's the budget that determines that. And so, yeah, I think the budget would determine, can we do all of the first phases? If not, maybe we just do some of them. So I think those are yet to be seen. But yeah, everything's dependent on the budget.
Landscaping costs typically are carried in the FM department for us. We're typically not funding that. We don't get money directly for that.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. We're not
Okay.
trying to take your money, don't worry.
Don't take my book money.
If we have to make any adjustments, I just want to make it known, we can move Covington up to phase one. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, Covington has not, they have not started. He was saying the other two, they've started. But now, if you got money to put in Covington,
Hey, now.
like we did at the 5 libraries in the 5th, we'll be good.
Okay, okay, we'll work that
And
out.
I always say, and did you put in the budget, Commissioner, to reimburse me on my fine? Okay,
Phase one is heavily District 5.
okay. So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second,
All in favor
Aye.
with this?
Yeah. But with the added, we'll add this into the resolution, Commissioners.
Substitute?
We'll do a substitute, add all this in the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes. I'm a little excited about our next presentation. Director Gordon is, I'm telling you, he's always working with, just does a tremendous job in Fleet. And he's always working with our youth to encourage them and to also partner with them. So I'm going to give the floor to you, Director.
Thank you, Chairperson. First off, it's a little bait and switch on this presentation today. My name ain't on there, and there's a reason, because we're going to have a young person come up here today and actually conduct this presentation. And it was really funny to me how many people come up and ask me, "Oh, you're going to be doing a presentation today?" And I just kind of smiled and shook my head, It's very appropriate, in my opinion, to have a young person come up here and talk about the apprenticeship programs. That's exactly who it's for. It's been so beneficial to so many young people, but it's so needed in our world today. If you've ever heard it, all of you've heard the term, "No child left behind." And in all honesty, we left a whole generation of children behind that didn't have a way to make a living when they got out of high school because they didn't go to college, or they didn't go to secondary school. So I am very adamant about the program. It was something I'd wanted to do for a long time, and I never could get it worked out. And Commissioner Johnson asked me one day about it and says, "We're going to help you." And next thing you know, we had a fully funded apprenticeship program. And it is so needed in our industry, and most any of you know that's tried to hire a mechanic, a welder, a carpenter, a plumber, how short we are in the tech world. So today, I'm very, very proud to introduce this young man. He's 19 years old. He's a graduate from South DeKalb Technical High School. He's attending Savannah State University, a mechanical engineering program. He's an intern from Ms. Johnson, or Commissioner Johnson's office. Makai Bolton.
How y'all doing? All right. Like he said, graduated from DeKalb Technical High School. I also went to Southwest DeKalb High School, go to Savannah State, interning for Commissioner number 5. So let's get started. Today I am proposing a DeKalb County and Fleet partnership proposal. So let's see, slide. Purpose. The purpose of this project is to address staffing challenges with Fleet and develop the partnership between DeKalb County School District.
They're doing it for you.
Okay. The existing program for DeKalb County is called OEC. It provides students with tools, expertise, and opportunities to build careers, successful lives, everything we want, and just from kids in general. Fleet management. Fleet, they buy the cars, they fix the cars, they sell them, dispose of them, everything you need, every car, every vehicle with a county logo on it, they handle it. They do everything, garbage trucks, they got a couple excavators they do, fire trucks, EMTs, it's everything. They currently partner with a couple tech schools, a couple high schools for apprenticeship jobs and apprenticeship opportunities. Let's see. A couple of the technical schools are Georgia Piedmont, Atlanta area, and Gwinnett Tech, and a couple of the high schools are Warren Tech, Atlanta College Career Academy, and DeKalb High School of Technology, where I went. For the DeKalb County High School Technology Program, they serve 13 DeKalb County high schools. Students are enrolled in 2 schools at the same time, so I was able to graduate from 2 schools. So I went to Southwest DeKalb, but since I was on track to graduate early, I had the opportunity to go to that school also. So half my day was at my main school and the other half was at DeKalb High School of Technology. So like they give you classes for official certifications, just real opportunities. So my class was automotive technology. So we worked on cars in there. They also have barbering, cosmetology, that's hair and nails. They have audio and video. I think they have law, and what else they got? Computer science and programming. So a lot of opportunities to get real certifications you can use in the real world. But the issue is there's nowhere to go with those certifications. So a lot of people I know from my class, specifically automotive technology, we have certifications, but you can't use it anywhere because a lot of places require certain things that we don't get there. So yes, we have the certification, but the only next option is college. So it's almost like we're doing it for nothing, if that makes sense. So it's a good thing to have the certification, but we can't use it. Purpose and vision. This will allow us to, build a pipeline of automotive technicians. So Fleet has their staffing issue solved, let's say that. County school district collaboration, that speaks for itself. Tangible career paths for students. So instead of having to go from high school straight to college with a certification that you can't use, you'll be able to use that certification and go into Fleet or somewhere else with the partnership and be able to use what you learned from high school. So you'll be able to use everything instead of just getting it and not using it. Potential partnership challenges. So Fleet had the recruitment difficulties. There's a shortage of technicians. Public sector, so like dealerships, people will leave Fleet after they get their training for dealerships because they pay more money. Who don't like more money? Retention issues, same issue. People won't stay after they get their training. Limited visibility. I went to DeKalb High School of Technology, and after doing research, I learned that they were partnered, but I didn't know about this until recently, and I graduated over a year ago. And that's like a very big visibility issue because how are you going to get people to come in and work for you? How are you going to get people to do that if we don't know about it? So that limits opportunities. That limits the amount of people they can get in their program, and that limits the opportunities I got myself. Disconnected pipelines. We have training, but we can't get a real job with it. So, yeah. Strategic solutions. Expand apprenticeship access. We could connect the 2 programs. That would give 13 different high schools. So that gives Arabia, Cedar Grove, Clarkston, Columbia, Lithonia, MLK, Miller Grove, Reedam, McNair, Stevenson, Stone Mountain, Towers, and Southwest DeKalb. That gives students from all 13 of those schools opportunities to move on to somewhere with their life. That's a very big impact because instead of just pulling from 4 colleges, 4 tech schools, you get an additional 13 schools. So that's way more people to pull from. So that will make Fleet's apprenticeship program even bigger, even more profitable. Students get on the job training. So we get real exposure. The same thing we need to get these jobs after high school, we would get it with Fleet. So it builds on both sides. It's not just, it's a symbiotic relationship. So both sides get something in return that benefits them. Solution, we could create incentive structures like, let's see, paid time off, vacation time, flexible scheduling, if possible, a signing bonus, but that's not always possible. And the county does do periodic salary surveys and evaluations to figure out what to do to best keep the program going, keep people, interested, keep people coming in and staying. Enhance recruitment strategies that could get more people coming in. Like I said, there's an exposure issue, so social media, DCTV could do a couple pieces with them. They could do a couple press releases, hiring events, but in all, just to make it simple is just more involvement with the schools that they're partnered with. Because this really affected me, so I feel like it's essential for them to have more involvement with the schools. Because if I would have knew about this, I probably would have took that route. Values, on both sides, it's the same values. It's accountability, efficiency, and leadership. So with us, I didn't go to the other classes, but I know it was set up pretty much the same. So we work in a real auto shop. We just have a teacher in there with us. But it's so many students that one teacher can't watch all the kids at the same time. Because with me, I know I had a group of friends, it was like 4 or 5 of us. We love cars to the point so much, we would get our work done on the computer just to go out into the lab and work on cars constantly. But the other kids didn't like cars as much as us, so they would just stay in there on the computer. So the teacher can't watch us all at the same time. So he would have to leave us in there to work on the job we're doing, and that's how we learn leadership and accountability. Because if we don't work on that, we lose our privileges working on cars, and that's really why we went there, because we love cars that much. So we had to learn how to work for ourselves, stay on task, keep the shop safe, because any minor slip up can result in death, because it's just that the environment is that serious. Benefits, like I said earlier, sustainable technician pipeline, reduce staff gaps, cost-effective training, because they already have someone in-house that does training, so that wouldn't be an issue. They just move the students, the high school students, to where they are to fleet, and then they just get trained by the people they already have in place for that, so they wouldn't have to hire anybody else. Increase job placement and career success for DCSD students. Go straight from high school, get a good job, successful job, make some money. You don't have to worry about anything else. Enhance community trust and investment in public education and government. Who wouldn't trust a government that gives back to the people, gives back to the children, because the children are the future, as people say all the time. So who wouldn't trust a government that consistently puts the next generation in a place to succeed? Questions for consideration. What supports are needed to retain the strategic solutions, PTO, vacation time like earlier. Can a rotating pool of high school students stabilize workforce needs? Yes, because even if the high schoolers do leave after they get their training, the very next year there's more high schoolers coming in. Because it's not like high school, it's not that many people. Like more people go to high school than college, so it will be a bigger pool than just the tech schools like they have now. So it will be constantly people coming in, and if they do stay with everything I propose, most likely are, but if they do stay, then that makes the program even bigger, because they have people there and they have people constantly coming in, learning new things, people that are interested and actually want to be there. What mechanisms should be used to vet student participants? Applications, teacher recommendations, interviews, because with us, they only let us into the program if we were on track to graduate early or if we were going to graduate on time. So that gets rid of all the bad students anyway that just want to go there to play around. But if the teachers recommend the very best students, that's even more of, a selection, because not only are you picking the top students from the school, you're picking the top students from the program. So that makes it even better. You're picking the cream of the crop. Can additional financial or non-financial incentives be offered? That's the sign-in bonus, salary surveys, flexible schedule, PTO, vacation time. Yeah, that's it. Any questions?
I'll say this. Not taking anything away from Director Gordon. This was my intern's idea. You know, I asked him one day, what was his passion? And he said, fixing cars. You know, so what better place for him to visit than Fleet? Then the next thing I knew, he was giving a presentation. Isn't that wonderful? That says so much. And he did such a great job. And I know his mother's chest is out here because you did such a great job. But we do have questions that I know that you're ready to answer. And one of the questions that I had, I think that you've already answered it during the presentation. And that was the training of the students when they come into Fleet. And they would get that in Fleet. Is that
Yes, ma'am.
when they come in?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. So we get trained like officially to not just Georgia standards, but we get trained to country standards at the secondary high school. And then at Fleet, we will receive additional training to make it up to their standards.
Okay, well, great. Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
I just want to say, Commissioner, your team did an amazing job with your intern this summer. I'm proud of what I've seen today. I think this is the first presentation I've seen from a student. So y'all hit the ball out of the park with your first presentation. But I do have a question. You mentioned that after receiving your certifications, you don't really get any other opportunities. So I was wondering, did your class or any other classes go to any conferences or competitions? If you did, were there any recruiters there?
So our teacher, Mr. Northern, love him, just because he loved us so much, he took us to the, what was it? I forgot what it's called, but it was a conference in downtown Atlanta with thousands of students. It was competitions and everything. And it was specifically geared toward this nature. So students taking classes for, like I said, barbering, cosmetology, audio and video, law. It was specifically competitions for that, for students to get national and state recognition. But I did not see any recruiters there, no.
So ultimately, just to reiterate, this would be for DeKalb students probably one of the only or few options for you guys to do something in the area of your certification, as you mentioned before.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Hey, thank you.
Robert.
Good afternoon. Good to see you. I've got a question for you. You mentioned that there were 13 schools, high schools that are included in the program, and I
Yes,
think
sir.
you mentioned Warren Tech, which is up in District 1. Is there any effort to go to some of the other schools, even Dunwoody, Chamblee, Lakeside? Because not every kid is going to be college-oriented, regardless of their background, and this could be a good option for some of those kids. So is there any effort to look at the other DeKalb County high schools?
I heard from Mr. Gordon they have tried going a little further north, and some of those kids it was a little far, so they had to cut it out. But I believe they should at least try to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if it's just one student,
Right.
that's one job.
Right.
That's a job. They could tell, you know what I'm saying, people after them that graduated. That creates more and more interest over the time.
Well, if you think about it, on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard is the Motor Mile in Chamblee, which has all the auto dealerships, and they have their own mechanics there. There's Jim Ellis, there's Hennessy, plenty of options. Not that we really want them to poach from DeKalb County Transportation Department, But those would be good economic opportunities there for kids, and being so close to job centers, that would be another option. So, and I think I had one more question for you. Oh, Mr. Gordon.
Well, I just wanted to chime in on, we've worked with Cross Keys High School, which is up in the area.
Okay.
And because they have a program, they actually have an automotive program, and then the technical school down the south side, we're working with them as well. My future plans is to attempt to get to the guidance counselors at all the high schools. That's who we got to get in with. We got to get to talk to those people. They know the students, they know the ones that they could push in the right direction. But it's kind of difficult, to be honest. It's hard to get around to all of them. We're on advisory committee to all the tech schools around the metro area. But that's one of my goals for this coming year, is try to get more involved with those guidance counselors at each high school.
Okay.
So,
All right. I think those are my questions for now. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And, well, you see it there. What would be the next step to get something like this started?
Getting with the school board. You know, I was on the advisory committee for the DeKalb County School Board at one point, and I said the wrong thing, so they didn't invite me back. But true story, it was all about STEMs and art and music. And when I brought up that, how about an industrial arts program to where we could let kids see a variety of different tech fields, they didn't invite me back. So, but with your help and some of you guys' help, maybe we can get that, because we have a huge shortage of tech fields in this country.
Well, now, with the 13 schools that you've already identified that has that program.
His is a proposal to have a program, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but
Yeah.
you have the certificates in
Yes.
those 13
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah, they do have certificates they get when they attend the tech classes, but like you said, you don't have any real-world experience, it's not no good, it's just a piece of paper.
Right, so you would need to get with those 13 schools?
Yes.
You would need to, okay, then
Yeah.
we'll follow up on
And
that.
the school system would have to have a mechanism to get those kids to those tech schools.
Okay.
You know, I don't have that, because but you was down there close to that tech school. They do have some, but this tech school can hold a lot more. They don't promote it enough, to be honest. That's big time.
Okay, so we can have a meeting before I lose my intern and
Sure.
his ideas. We
Yeah.
can get together and see
Yeah.
what the next steps should be.
Sounds good to
So
me.
that we can sort of get that started.
Sounds great. Thank you. Good job.
Well, thank you, great job. And, okay, did you have a,
Well, actually, we want to take the opportunity to say thank you and great presentation, Makai. I wanted to ask you specifically, what would be a financial or non-financial incentive to someone like you or your age range to come work for DeKalb County and stay in DeKalb County?
Well, to me, Mr. Gordon, when I was at Fleet, he told me to have like 4-day work weeks. Me personally, I like that. I like that. I like that.
Zach likes that too.
But
And Terry.
that and paid time off is definitely a big pull.
And someone was mentioning about getting from one place to the other. I mean, would like a transportation voucher help if you had young people all over the county, but they had to get to another part of the county, like to pay for an Uber or, other transportation costs?
I mean, it could help, but I know for us, they bust us from our school
Okay.
to the secondary school
Okay.
every day.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
So was that Skills USA that you were
Yes,
referring
yes.
to earlier? Okay. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, after our BOC retreat, one of the priorities that we had listed was career-specific training. So maybe this is something we can bring up in that conversation when we start our small group discussion.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much, and I am just as proud of you as your mother. Yes. And so I tell you, I had, can I say that we had the best interns in DeKalb? I can say that.
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
say that in front of your mama?
I I don't have any more interns. Their last week was the other week. So yes, we can say that.
I've had some of the best interns. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, so the next item, and Demetrius, let's get on Director Gordon's calendar. So the next item that we have is the state legislative agenda. We'll have another small, short presentation from your last presentation. And how are you today?
I'm good, Commissioner.
Good.
Maybe I should ask your intern, Mr. Bolton, to give my presentation since he did such a good job. So my understanding is you just wanted me to go over the legislative agenda items I didn't last time, which are ones that were introduced but did not pass this session or pending for next session. And I don't know if you still all have the document from the last meeting, but that's where I was going to pick up from, was the top of page 2 with House Bill 16, which was the workhouse worker protection legislation. So that bill was introduced, but is still pending in the House Industry and Labor Committee. The next one is one that we know well, is House Bill 41, which would allow counties to adopt ordinances governing the possession of 1 ounce of marijuana or less. That bill was again introduced, and it's pending in the House Judiciary Non-Civil Committee. Next.
And the possibilities of that coming out.
I've been talking to a couple legislators, and they were saying maybe could we change the verbiage, still have the same intent and the same result, but change some of the verbiage with the word marijuana becomes somewhat controversial. And I believe that Mr. Welch and Mr. Petty had come up with some revised language that we were going to float with some legislators that we had been talking to on the Senate Public Safety Committee.
Okay. So, Matthew, do you think we could have something together before we present our legislative agenda for us to consider?
Yes, ma'am. I can go ahead and circulate that to you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
I guess for Madam Chair as well as for Dan, are there any counties that are like DeKalb where it has its own police department? And that's sort of the impetus for us asking the question. Is there any chance of partnering with those other counties?
Well,
see if they would
Athens
come?
is,
Yeah. I mean, Athens was supportive when we got this on the ACCG legislative agenda. So it's not one of their priority items, but it's part of their platform. So it's there. But you have other places, like Fulton County has their own police department.
Right, and that
Gwinnett
was sort
County,
of
yeah. Right.
where our partners would seemingly work with us.
Right, because remember, part of this is to bring parity with the cities that can already do this.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah, thank you. Next, House Bill 97, dealing with Medicaid expansion. That was introduced this session. Now, based on everything that's happening at the federal level and with Medicaid, not sure. There was actually a chance of something happening this session a little bit. I'm not sure where that's going to stand now with what's going on at the federal level. Next, which is on page 4, House Bill 528, dealing with data centers, providing disclosure reports, and that would get into how much water they're using, how much energy they're using, and I think I mentioned at my presentation a couple weeks ago, there's a study committee that's meeting again, I think, later this week or next week, looking at data centers and their water usage and everything. So I'll keep you all updated as to what they're talking about and that might help inform where legislation on that goes next session. Next one, also on page 4, House Bill 561, was the Okefenokee Protection Act. And I believe there was some recent court action about halting all the mining operations in that area. This bill was introduced again. I remember when we put it on last session, there was a question whether it would need to come back, but somebody did introduce it again. And maybe they'll want to memorialize it in legislation, but I think the things that led to you putting it on there you're concerned about are not happening now because of some court action. Next one, House Bill 687, about disclosure of junk fees and leases. That's pending in the House Judiciary Committee. House Bill 688, this bill would provide for service of process by certified mail and statutory overnight delivery with return receipt requested. So that's House Bill 688, which is
And that
pending.
is for,
That is the one that you had requested be put in there. And so Representative Amari Crawford introduced that and is having conversations with the House Judiciary Chairman trying to get that moving for next session. Next is House Bill 901, something that's been around a couple of years, dealing with countywide polling places, and would provide the election superintendent of a county may permit any elector of the county to vote in any precinct of the county which such elector chooses in a general, primary, or runoff election. And I'll just take the opportunity to mention that starting today, there's a blue ribbon study committee in the House on election procedures. So they're looking at everything elections. There was a big omnibus bill that didn't pass last year, but there's this item and a couple others that were in the agenda on elections, and it might be something that we put in that conversation as they look at election laws. I know one of the appointees to that committee is Representative Syra Draper, who represents DeKalb County and is heavily into the election issues. She knows about the items in our agenda, but I'm reinforced those with her. Moving on page 5, Senate Bill 53, dealing with the safe storage of firearms. Senate Bill 102, to prohibit fighting of dogs and gamecocks. And this bill passed the Senate, passed the House Judiciary Committee, but got stuck in House rules at the very end. This is something that the presiding officer has been pushing. And the last one I'll mention from the legislative agenda that was introduced but didn't pass is it's Senate Bill 272, which prohibits landlords from requiring tenants to provide income information and authorize tenants to withhold rent payments under certain conditions. It also provides for habitability and to prohibit retaliation. And those are the items from the legislative agenda that were introduced but didn't pass. I'm just going to mention quickly, because I know you wanted this to be quick, a couple bills that were not from the agenda that were introduced and didn't pass that are, I know, have been of interest. There's about school speed zone cameras, and there was one bill, House Bill 225, which is on page 9 of the report, that would have repealed them totally. And on page 11, there's House Bill 651, which wouldn't repeal and would just reform them and also send a significant, I think 50% of the proceeds to schools for public safety. House Bill 374 on page 10 would be establishing allow them to do rental registries or housing management databases, as they're now being referred to. On page 11, there's a couple annexation and de-annexation bills, House Bill 521 and 23, which we may see some more action on this session. There were several bills dealing with annexation and de-annexation, trying to get towards some of the things that you've had in your agenda, including the one about hiring or about consultants not being able to be paid for by taxpayer money to lobby basically for an annexation being paid for by the city's money. And the last one I'll mention is Senate Bill 358 on page 13. This was a local bill about the DeKalb County Ethics Board, and it would basically change the way a complaint is filed, the ethics officer would still notify the board, but it would be, the actual violation would need to be brought by a residents or group of residents affected. This was something that was a point of discussion and maybe disagreement between the House and the Senate when the larger local ethics bill was passed a couple years ago. This was language that did not pass in that, so the Senate moved it forward, but the House delegation did not act on it, so it'll be pending again at the beginning of the session. And I will stop there.
Okay, thank you. Are there any quick questions? I gotta get through the agenda. Okay, we will appreciate you, but we will call you back.
Anytime, Commissioner.
Yeah, so that we can have further in-depth
Okay,
discussions.
all right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to sort of deviate a little bit on the agenda, and we're first going to bring a walk-on item, the IGA, Chamblee IGA, approval of amendment number 1 to the intergovernmental agreement between DeKalb County and the city of Chamblee regarding variance for the expansion of the DeKalb County Animal Shelter. You want to talk about that? Mr. CO?
Yes, ma'am. So essentially what we're doing is clean up language. If you'll recall, back, I want to say in early May, we brought an item before the board that required certain amendments to the planning process for the building of the animal shelter. And so all this is cleaning up additional language that the city and county has agreed to relative to placement of, I believe, a sidewalk, certain landscaping material, as well as, I think, a fence. So these are items that simply codify what we've already agreed to. There's no additional cost to the county for the project, but our codification of this amendment allows us to move forward, complete the construction, and get the CO for the kennels. It is our anticipation with the approval that we would be able to have everything wrapped up by mid to late August.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Good to hear. Mhm. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Okay, if none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that item is approved. The next item is is 240842, Operation Districts Resolution to review and amend the Board of Commissioners' standing procedure rules. And I would just say that we're still waiting for some commissioners to send in their recommendations or comments on that. And so if we could defer that item for another 2 weeks to give the commissioners the time to comment. And so have you commented, Commissioner Terry? Have you commented, Commissioner?
I've read the proposed changes. I have not yet had my sit-down with Attorney Welch that we're trying to work out a
Can you
date
do
for.
that within the next 2 weeks?
I can. But I acknowledge the county attorney's office working with him.
Oh, okay, okay. So if we could see about getting a deferral on that, and if we can talk to the other commissioners, everyone, to make sure that their information is in before the next ops meeting, then we can take those changes. In fact, we need to make the comments and or edits to central staff. Okay. Okay, and John, could you send us an update of what everyone has given us to date?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
I move to defer item 2024-0842 for 2 weeks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item is 250376, all commission districts, development of a child care reimbursement policy and pilot program for the Board of Commissioners.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioner. Staff requests a deferral to speak with the administration about the policy and its implementation.
Okay. How much of a deferral? How long? Deferral.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Excuse me. Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to defer for 2 weeks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item has come back from audit supported. It is in all commission districts. A renewal, you can read the contract numbers, on-call heating, ventilation, and air conditioners. Annual contract, first renewal of second option to renew for use by the Department of Facility Management, Recreation Parks and Cultural Affairs, Watershed Management, and Fire Rescue. These contracts consist of providing on-call HEDEC services for county-owned properties. This request seeks to exercise the first renewal option through July the 1st, 2026, awarded to BMW Mechanical Contractors, Inc., Gale Con, HEDEC Mechanical Services, Inc., and Man Mechanical Company LLC, amount not to exceed $3,025,000. Okay.
Hey, good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. This contract is to support the 300-plus buildings in the county, all the HVAC, the preventive maintenance, repairs, and replacements of those units.
Okay. Are there any questions, comments? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve item 0856.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. Fleet management is next. 250846, all commission districts. Low bid. This item has also come back from audit supported. Repair of equipment. All automobiles, off the road vehicles, motorcycles, trucks, trailers, and motorized equipment for use by the Department of Public Works, Fleet Management, and Fire Rescue Services. Consists of conducting repairs at a wide range of county-owned vehicles, such as those used on roads, off roads, as well as equipment, stationary items, heavy machinery, construction equipment, and trailers. This request reserves the right to transfer funds between contracts based on the need of the county. Recommended award to 40 lowest responsive and responsible vendors. Total amount not to exceed $7,850,000, and this was audit supported.
Yes, ma'am. This is just our contract for outside vendors. We have such a wide variety of fleet, that's why we have 40 different vendors. There's no vendor can handle all the stuff we have, because we have everything the county has, which is from bulldozers to lawnmowers to fire trucks, garbage truck, police cars, everything we have. This also includes our body shop work that we get done outside. We do some inside, we do some out.
Okay. Are there any comments, questions? If none, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item is approved. 250919, all commission districts, cooperative agreement, you can read the number, trailer, and accessories, Georgia Department of Transportation, for use by Public Works Fleet Management, to use by public work beautification. This request seeks to purchase from the competitively led GDOT contract for 5 10-ton heavy-duty equipment trailers to transport mowing equipment to various roadside locations throughout the county, awarded to JME Sales, Inc., amount not to exceed $100,657.85.
Yes, this will be replacing some trailers that's been met the end of their life, but it also is a bigger picture that we've downsized our trucks that we're going to be using for this department. Thus, we're downsizing the trailers. We used to use 20-ton trailers with very large trucks, so we've downsized those. It's what the department, the way they've changed how they do business, and that's what they wanted, and it appeared to be that's what they needed. So that's what these trailers will be, to haul those mowers.
Are there any questions or comments, concerns? Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve item 0919.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that item is approved. Last item is 2025-0931, cooperative agreement, all commission districts, number 2023261, ground maintenance, equipment, parts, accessories, supplied, related services and equipment for use by Public Works, fleet management to use by Public Works, recreation parks and cultural affairs. This request seeks to purchase from the competitively led city of Mesa partners contract for one Toro Grandmaster 55 HP diesel mower to be used to mow various sport fields and parks throughout the county. Awarded to Toro Company and distributed by Jerry Pate, Turf, and Irrigation, award amount not to exceed $100,358.35.
Yes, this is a very large mower. It's what you call a real mower, like you'd potentially see on a golf course, to mow the big, large fields. It has about a 10-foot cut. Very, very large motor, very expensive, but that's what they need to cut all the fields, and it can do them pretty fast. It is a replacement.
Okay, is it electric? No, kidding. Yes.
Okay. Yes, no, it's not electric.
Not electric.
No, and I know these are sort of specialized mowers.
Yes, sir.
I do want us to start looking at the electric options.
Okay.
I know specifically there's a couple. They kind of look like Roombas, but they're lawn mowers for golf courses, and they use GPS, and AI.
Yes, sir.
And so it'd just be interesting, and maybe if Zach, it's okay, I could set up a meeting with Director Gordon and Director Ellis with. Some of the folks we just were talking to outside about like the technology and kind of looking at that cost factor of if you have like a more automated mowing system in some areas, would it reduce costs, over the long run, whether it's labor, oil, gas,
Sure.
et cetera.
Return on investment.
Yeah. So, but it's I'm learning about it every day. So I think it'd be cool if us to consider piloting out some of those electric-based ones.
Okay, y'all give me some money.
We'll see you on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Before you run away, I do have one question.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Snuck away.
So you did indicate it was a replacement. Is this to replace the only one we have or one in a series?
One, there's more.
Oh, okay.
This
All
is
right.
just one. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because I was just thinking that's quite the commitment for a single piece of equipment, so that would reduce its life expectancy with us. But how many do we have?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I could certainly get back with you and let you know. I don't remember off the top of my head. We have
Okay.
a
Is
few.
it double digits? Do you know?
Oh, no. Not for
okay.
the big ones. I think it's probably about 5.
Oh, okay.
But,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, that's good. I just wanted a roundabout number.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount. We have a lot of smaller mowers, but for these fields, it really is, you gotta have one of these big ones or it just takes forever.
What is the expected lifetime or life expectancy?
On a piece of equipment like that, we probably get 7 years. We should be able to get about 7 years and 4,000 or 5,000 hours.
Oh,
it's a
okay.
pretty-
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it all depends on usage, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I go by as hours, really, but about 7 years, I
Okay.
think would be pretty safe.
All
We'd
right.
get tired of working on it by then, so we want to know.
Thank you, sir. I'm done now.
Thank you, I'm sorry, thank you.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve item 0931.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that item is approved, and that concludes our agenda at 2:11. I'm not asking you for any time today. Oh, we got one more. 10:15 is out.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, that's already been said. So I'm giving you 4 minutes. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, John.
I'm fine. Just thought that was interesting.